With the government's agri-emissions pricing coming in 2025, there are some big decisions ahead for the farming and agriculture sector. That's why the Primary Sector Climate Action Partnership, He Waka Eke Noa, was established in 2019 between industry, government and Māori to give our sector the best opportunity to find a solution that's effective, simple and fair for all. Together, DairyNZ and Beef and Lamb New Zealand have been working with the partnership on a more practical solution. After exploring multiple options, the partnership has narrowed it down to two effective alternatives for pricing agricultural emissions: the farm level levy and the processor level hybrid levy. Here's how they're calculated and how each option works in practice. For the farm level levy, short-lived and long-lived gas emissions are added together. Then the value of on-farm sequestration is deducted to receive an emissions charge. In practice, emissions will be reported at the farm level. Farmers will be responsible for entering their actual emissions and sequestration data into an online calculator to calculate their emissions charge. Farmers will pay their emissions charge directly to the implementation agency. The implementation agency will financially incentivise farmers to use new mitigation technology as it becomes available. For the processor level hybrid levy, short-lived and long-lived gas emissions are added together to receive an emissions charge. Then if a farm or collective has opted into an emissions management contract and/or a sequestration management contract, they will be rebated for the emission reductions and carbon capture they make. In practice, it is the processors who will pay the emissions charge to an independent authority, based on the amount of milk solids and meat processed or fertiliser supplied to farms. This will likely be passed on to farmers through a reduced payout or an increased cost for fertiliser. To offset these costs, farmers can opt into an emissions management contract or EMC and/or a sequestration management contract or SMC with the implementation agency. Farmers will receive a payment via the EMC for the on-farm actions taken to reduce emissions, and a payment via the SMC for the on-farm carbon recognised. The implementation agency will also financially incentivise farmers to use new mitigation technology as it becomes available. Here are a few other important things you need to know about how the options work. In 2019, our sector won a hard-fought concession to have a split gas approach in the Zero Carbon Act. That's important because methane makes up most of agricultural emissions. Both options will use a split gas approach to price emissions. This approach prices methane separately and recognises methane as a short-lived gas which does not need to reduce to zero. There will be the opportunity for farmers to form collectives to report and account for their emissions. The partnership proposes an advisory board is established to recommend levy prices to the Minister. This will give us more control than the ETS in ensuring levy prices adjust to the reductions agriculture has made. Both options will recognise carbon sequestration from a wider range of trees and vegetation that are not currently eligible under the ETS, like riparian planting and shelter belts. Revenue generated from the levy will go back into the agriculture sector to pay for on-farm sequestration and emission reduction actions, and for research and development of future emission-reducing technologies. Join discussions at one of our nationwide roadshow events or webinars, or submit your feedback directly online. Your input is critical to the advice the partnership will give to government on a more suitable pricing framework. Together, let's find the right solution for all.